be able to join today because of the cyclonic the in the Dhanbad side because of the cyclonic wave the internet connection has went down because of which it's
Okay.
in the Dhanbad side.
But he needs to write an application. He needs to, at least in WhatsApp, he needs to inform to all the teachers, right? So that he doesn't lose on attendance. About the fundamental principle of internal check. So, what do you think? What is the fundamental principle of internal check system? Work assignment, right? So, the internal check system's main principle definitely is about assigning to the right person the right kind of job, and that job is required to be checked by the higher authorities. No single person should be given the total part of a particular work, and no, that particular work should not be given to that single person again and again. Right? All dealings and acts of every employee should, in the ordinary course of business, should come under the review, should come under the checking system of the of another staff. So yes, that was regarding work assignment. That is one of the general considerations in framing a system of internal check. Next is rotation of employees. Now, the duties of members of the staff should be changed from time to time without any previous notice, so that the same officer or employee or subordinate does not, without a break, perform the same function for a considerable length of time. Compulsory leave.
Ma'am, will you repeat again? Ma'am, rotation of employees.
Yes. See, the duties of members of this staff is required to be changed. The work which is assigned this accounting period should change in the next accounting period. That performance should be given to the subordinate or to the employee or the same officer, maybe after some point of time. So there must be rotation of work. The performance of the same function for a considerable length of time brings biasness to that work. So, in order to avoid such biasness, rotation of employees required with respect to that work. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Next is compulsory leave. Every member of the staff should be encouraged to go on leave at least once in a year. Experience has shown that frauds successfully concealed by the employees are often detected when they are on leave. So it is important that every officer, every employee have an absentee or have a compulsory leave in a particular accounting period. Next is separation of interrelated jobs. That is, persons or employees having physical custody of assets must not be permitted to have access to the books. And if that particular person or employee has access to books, then he or she must not have an access to the physical assets. Am I clear?
Yes,
Ma'am, will
ma'am.
you repeat again?
Yes. What I was pointing out that the job should be should not be interrelated. Like what Mr. A is doing, Mr. B should do something else. Like suppose Mr. A is having an access or an authority over the physical assets or like some machinery of the company, then he must not have an access to the documents or the books or recordings of that machinery. He must not know its value and other functional details. And the person who are dealing with the functional details, with the person who is dealing with the documentation part of the machinery, the person who is dealing with the books of the machinery, he should not have access to the actual physical asset or actual machinery of the company. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, can we just do once the compulsory leave once?
Sure. So, as per the management, every member of the staff should be encouraged to go for a leave, you know, at least once in a year, because it has been seen, it has been researched and seen that the frauds successfully concealed by the employees are often detected when they are on leave, right? It's easier to detect the frauds if they are on leave rather than in their presence. Here.
Okay, ma'am.
Next is uses of mechanical devices. Now, to prevent loss or embezzlement or misappropriation of cash, mechanical devices or technology, the revolution in this current 21st century brought by technology should be used, which registers any cash related deficit, any transaction related manipulation, any embezzlements. So the mechanical devices which maintains like cash registers which includes all the inflows and outflows of cash are very useful for detecting fraud and error. Right? Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Next is periodical review. This is very simple. So, when the financial and administrative power is distributed very judicially among different officers and is distributed in systematic and scientific manner, chronological manner, which so that the periodical review, like periodical means like maybe weekly review, maybe monthly review, maybe quarterly review, that periodical review is required to be done properly. So this is one of the fundamental principles of internal check, that the periodical review must be perfect, and that is perfect only and only if it is maintained chronologically, right? And it is done on a particular time basis, maybe weekly or monthly or quarterly. So yes. Does that make sense? Yes. Have you understood? Periodical review, that was.
Yes, ma'am.
Next is responsibility. So, responsibility of each and every individual, each and every employee must be properly defined, must be, transparent and should be fixed and should be, communicated properly. And the work of the business should be allocated amongst various staff members in such a manner that their duty and responsibility are clear and judicial with each other, and that their jobs are chronologically distributed among the staff members, so that the work of one can be passed on, so the work of one person is dependent upon the work of the next person, right? So that is a responsibility, or rather you can put it as delegation of duties and responsibilities, right? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So now next is safeguards. Now for stock taking at the end of the year, trading activities should, if possible, be suspended. Why? Because the task of stock taking and evaluation should be done by staff belonging to several sections of the organization. It may be proved to be dangerous to depend exclusively on the stock section staff for these tasks, since they may be tempted to under and overstate the stock, right? So, as I have stated, pinpointed earlier also, that the work of one should be checked by someone else in order to avoid any kind of irrelevant fraud. The same principle applies in case of safeguards. Clear? Does that make any sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Next is reliance. Now, no staff member of the business should be relied upon too much. You know, there is a term in, if you have studied mercantile law, you must have come across the term fiduciary relation. Have you come across the term fiduciary relation? Maybe you have forgotten. Fiduciary relation means, you know, uh, the relationship where exists a blind faith, right? The relationship where blind faith exists, like the relationship between, between the girlfriend and a boyfriend, or you can say guru and chela. You say guru means I am pointing towards that saint guru and chela, like the cases of that Ram Rahim. What was his full name? I forgot. Guru Ram Rahim and Harpreet, that case. So, situations like that. So, yes, son and father, or daughter and father, or daughter and mother, or son and mother, or you can say even in some cases teacher and student, even some cases, where there is a strong, means a blind faith exists. So, what happens in case of such fiduciary relation? There is a chance of fraud. A huge amount of consideration can go away with the help of such relation. Fiduciary relation is very harmful. So, this point, reliance, is pointing towards the fundamental principle of internal check, which is pointing out that you should not believe in an employee blindly. There shouldn't be a blind faith. There shouldn't be a fiduciary relation with any employee of the organization. Okay? No staff member of the business should be relied upon too much, right? The system must provide for an automatic checking of the work of every employee by another employee. You know, the internal check is pointing out that cross checking is required. Cross checking is a must for each and every operation. So these are the 9 fundamental principles of internal check system. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, the screen is not visible to me.
Others can see the screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
You can do one thing. Uh, who is speaking? Just let me see who is speaking.
Ma'am, I'm Jyoti.
Jyoti, you can do one thing. You can just log out and log in. I will log you in because I know you are here. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Now, let's move on to the next part. Can you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So now let's come to the internal control. So before jumping into the types of internal control, I would like to ask, what is an internal control system? What is it? What is an internal control system? Okay, I'm coming to this presentation. In the meantime, please answer, what is internal control system? Okay, so basically, internal control system are a system consisting of consisting of specific policies and procedures, right? Specific policies and procedures, which is designed to provide management with reasonable assurance. Reasonable assurance about what? That the goals and objectives it believes important to the entity will be met, right? So that is internal control system. As per Investopedia, internal controls are the mechanisms, rules, or procedures which is implemented by a company to ensure the integrity of financial and accounting information, promoting accountability, and preventing fraud. Right? Besides complying with laws and regulations and preventing employees from stealing assets or committing fraud, internal controls can help improve operational efficiency by improving the accuracy and timeliness of financial reports. Internal audits play a crucial role in a company's internal controls and corporate governance. Now that the Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002 has made managers legally responsible for the accuracy of its financial statements. According to the Committee of Sponsoring Organization, COSO, internal control is the process affected by an entity's board of directors, management, and other personnel designed to provide reasonable assurance regarding the achievement of the objectives, like that of reliability of financial reporting, compliance with applicable laws and regulations, and effectiveness and efficiency. So, if we write down like what is an internal control system, so if we write down what is the definition of internal control system, precisely we can write that internal control system refers to a system implemented by members. Why they are implemented? Implemented bring accuracy, and verifiable reports, detecting and preventing fairness and efficiency of internal control system
You're not audible.
I'm not audible. Just one second. Hello, am I audible properly?
Yes.
Now you are.
Is a Brahmastra for the management?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, Jyoti is waiting in the lobby.
I will not allow anyone to enter. Jyoti, Jyoti.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Rashmi was also there in the class. Only Honoranna and Pranjal was late. So internal control system is pivotal for any organization. Strong internal control system is a Brahmastra for the management of the organization. Information that this is
Ma'am,
internal audit. Yes, Rishi. Say.
ma'am, it's what will you explain, ma'am, this Brahmastra, ma'am, what does it mean about?
So it's just a metaphor, okay? Literally, like you won't find this word in auditing straightforward, but but in Indian, uh, what do you say that mythology, you have seen this word Brahmastra. When do we use the term Brahmastra? What we mean is that the most powerful tool, the tool which is surely is going to destroy the enemy. Like Ram used Brahmastra to, uh, to evoke the sea to build that bridge to reach to Lanka, or Brahmastra, which has been used in the Mahabharata's war. So Brahmastra is the most powerful tool, like a nuclear weapon is one of the Brahmastra, we believe, in today's time. So Brahmastra is, if you have a strong, now what is the enemy for a management? For the enemy for the management is the frauds and errors, the misappropriations and embezzlements which is going on. So if you have a strong internal control system works as the most powerful tool, a sure shot success tool to defeat or detect and finish off all the errors and frauds in an organization. Right. Here.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, um, so there are many types of internal control systems, right? So the internal control system is organizational. That is, an enterprise should have a plan of organization which should define and allocate responsibility and identify lines of reporting. In all cases, the delegation of authority and responsibility should be clearly specified, and the employee should always know the precise powers delegated to him and the extent of his authority, and to whom he should report, right? So this is that organizational kind of internal control. Next is that of segregation of duties. So internal control system uh, is can be categorized in the type of segregation of duty, which is more like that of internal check system. So here, no one person should be responsible for the recording and processing of a complete transaction, and the involvement of several people reduces the risk of intentional manipulation or accidental error and increases the element of checking of work or functions for a given transaction, which should be separated, including initiation, authorization, execution, custody, and recording. Right. Next is
Will
that
you
of
repeat again?
yes, the segregation of duty type of internal control system is like internal check system, which deals with the factors like that no individual employee should be responsible for all the recordings and all the processing of the transaction, and also it dealt with that the involvement of several people reduces the risk of intentional manipulation, reduces the risk of fraud, reduces the risk of accidental errors, and increases the element of checking of work. And another point which involves in segregation of duty is functions for a given transaction which should be separated includes initiation, authorization, execution, custody, and recording. Here.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now let's move on to physical internal control. So, physical type of internal control deals with the concern that the physical custody of assets involves procedures designed to limit the access of an authorized personnel to that physical asset only and not to the books. As again, this is also forms a part of internal check system. Second, the physical internal control points out that access can be direct of that person or indirect, right? Either direct or indirect, should not be both. And third, these controls are especially important in case of valuable, portable, exchangeable, or desirable assets, right? Does that make sense? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So now let's move on to authorization and approval. So all transactions should require authorization or approval by an appropriate person. The limits to these authorizations should be specified. For example, all credit sales must be approved by the credit control department, or all overtime must be authorized by the personnel manager, right? Here,
Yes, ma'am.
next is arithmetical and accounting, right? So this deals with this type of internal control deals with the fact that in the recording functioning, which which check that the transactions have been authorized, they should require to check that they are included and that they are correctly recorded and accurately processed. That is, there is arithmetical accuracy in accounting in books, right? And the procedures include checking that such arithmetical accuracy of the records is there, maintenance and checking of totals is there, reconciliation is there, control accounts is there, trial balance is there, accounting for documents and preview is there.
Ma'am, will you repeat this
So
again, ma'am?
yes, there's a number of points over here. So what are to be checked over here? Here, arithmetical accuracy of the records is to be checked. Then maintenance and checking of totals is required to be done. Reconciliation between accounting profit and financial profit financial profit and costing profit should be done. Then should we check that control accounts whether is maintained or not, and if maintained, whether it's correctly maintained or not. That is the accuracy of control accounts. And trial balances are properly maintained or not, or accounting for documents and the preview exists or not. Right? Do you know what is preview? Class, do you know what is preview? Okay, let me tell you. Preview refers to the procedure in which, before an important action involving the company's property is taken, the person concerned should review the documents available to see that all that should have been done has been done. Right? So basically, the person who will be checking all the documents before entering into any deal uh, to buy or sell the company's property. Here, here,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, can you explain the physical ones once more?
physical one, yes. So, physical type of internal control is a part of like internal check system. So, which tells with that the physical custody of assets, which involves procedures designed to limit access to authorized personnel only. Like Mr. A, who is checking a machinery, physical machinery, the real machinery in the factory, he should not have access to the documents of the machinery. He should only check the machinery and not the documents. And if he has access, the access, if direct, then it shouldn't be indirect. And if he has an indirect access, he shouldn't have a direct access. The restriction in his access. And also, the controls are important, especially in case of valuing the physical assets, checking the portability of assets to bring exchangeability of assets. When if it's very old, they can easily exchange it with a new one, and gaining more desirable assets, right?
Yes, yes,
So,
ma'am. Understood.
okay, that's great. Now let's move on to the next part, personnel. So, personnel internal control. So, you know what do you mean by personnel? You know that this means human resource, right? Personnel means employees. So, the internal control system in relation to personnel is basically the procedure which should be designed to ensure that the personnel operating a system are competent and motivated to carry out the task assigned to them, as the proper functioning of a system depends upon the competence and integrity and dedication of the operating personnel. Also, the
Ma'am, will you
personal
repeat
internal
again?
yes. So basically, the personal internal control system is a procedure The procedure which is designed to ensure that the personnel who are operating in the organization are competent enough and are motivated enough to carry out the task assigned to them. Why? Because the proper functioning of a system, proper functioning of an organization depends upon the competence and integrity and dedication of the employees, of the operating employees of the organization. Here.
Yes, ma'am.
So, another point in relation to uh, the personal internal control is that it is a measure. It is a measure which includes measurement of appropriate remuneration because it motivates them, appropriate promotion, again, motivation, career development, again, motivation factor, prospects, again, a motivation factor, selection of people with appropriate personal characteristics, again a factor which will induce the performance of the organization. Motivating an employee will induce the performance of organization. Selecting the right person at the right place at the right time at the right job is a necessity for right functioning of the operation of the organization, right? And training and developing the personnel so that the personnel remains up to date with the person up to date knowledge. They will be enhancing the productivity of the organization and assignment of the task, uh, you know, chronologically at the right levels, as I stated. Assignment of the right kind of job at the to the right person at the right time and at the right place, right? So that is about personal internal control. Here,
Yes, ma'am.
next is supervision. So supervision internal control pinpoints towards all the actions by all levels of staff uh, which are supervised, right? The responsibility for supervision, what kind of supervision they will be doing and what are their supervision areas and how they will be supervising. So that actions are required to be laid down and should be communicated to the person who will be supervising. So basically, the assignment of supervising tasks should be clearly mentioned to them. Am I clear? Should be clearly assigned to them. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Next is management internal control. So, management internal control are controls exercised by management. Now, these controls exercised by management which are outside and over and above the day-to-day routine of the system. So they include overall supervisory controls, review of management accounts, comparison with budgets, internal audits, and any other special review procedures. Here,
Yes, ma'am.
right. Now let's come to the advantages of internal control system. Now the advantages of internal control system are immense. Definitely, as I stated earlier, like internal control system works like a brahmastra for reducing the risk of frauds and errors in an organization. Under internal control system, the total activities are segregated in such a way that the work performed by one employee is automatically checked by another employee. So if there is any defect in the system, it is easily detected, because not only that employee is checking, If A's work is being checked by B, B's work will be checked by C, and C's work will be checked by D. So actually, A's work is being checked by B, C, and D, right? So because of this continuous assessment and continuous reviewing and previewing procedures, there is a reduced risk of frauds and errors. Here,
Yes, ma'am.
next is reconciliation of standard performance with actual performance. Because that is one of the procedures of internal control system. It's one of the evaluation procedure where they reconcile that whether the standard performance equals actual performance or not. If standard performance not equals actual performance, why it doesn't matches? Like, what are the factors which is hindering in in bringing equality between standard performance and actual performance? Understanding, pinpointing the practice, and then bringing in alternative solutions and choosing the best alternative solution to for reconciling the standard performance with the actual performance. Clear? Clear? No? Should I repeat again?
Mom, like standard performance is like the estimated performance that this should happen, like it kind of thing.
Yes, absolutely. Estimated performance, the planned performance, which has been benchmarked by the organization. The management has decided that this year we will be having, the books will be expectedly, yes, the books will be being checked and audited within, say, end of this month, say by 30th September, the books will be checked. And it is if it is not checked within 30th of September, suppose it has more 1 week has been required to check. Why such long time has been required, right? If there is any like suppose they have an objective of the organization to reach a particular sales goal, so why such goal has not been achieved by the organization? What are the factors which is hindering, right? So those things. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So the next is time saving. So if an internal control system is in operation in an organization, there is no need for the preparation of separate audit programs for each and every audit engagement, because internal control system covers audit program. So thus it saves time to a great extent. Here, here, am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Next is provision of training facility. That is due to lack of adequate experience, the auditor may face difficulty in establishing a close relationship between audit program and the internal control system. So this internal control system itself provides training facility to auditors to overcome this difficulty. The auditors are trained to adapt themselves with the internal control system of the organization. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Next is proper delegation of authority, responsibility, and power. Nothing to say about it. I am continuously telling the same thing again and again. That the internal control system focuses upon proper, accurate, and right delegation of authority, responsibility, and power to each and every person of the organization. The responsibility should be distributed in such a manner, in such a chronological manner, that the performance of one staff is dependent upon the performance of the on the previous staff, right? So that way they are also cross-checking each and every person's duty, and of course there is a requirement of balance between authority, responsibility, and power. If there is more responsibility, less power, the responsibility cannot be performed properly. If there is more power and less responsibility, then that leads to misuse of power. So there must be a balance of authority, responsibility, and power. Thus, the delegation should be done in a very, chronological, scientific, and systematic manner. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Next class, we will be discussing about disadvantages of internal control system, the internal control and the auditor relationship. Okay. That's it for today, class. Happy learning. Keep studying module 1, and we will also have a test and a Viva kind of a test for module 2. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am.